What's up, everybody? Thank you for listening to the Flip Side Podcast, Flip Side for your ears. This is a quick hits edition where we go over one or two topics that'll get you through your commute, brushing your teeth, taking a shower, whatever you're doing. We appreciate any feedback, reviewing, subscribe, download, like, whatever your platform, however you get your podcast. Please hit the like, hit subscribe, and let's keep this thing rolling. Let's go.
We talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice. Practice, man. I mean, how silly is that?
A bit outside.
Oh my, he's on fire!
What's up, everybody? Thank you for listening to the Flip Side Podcast. Thank you for joining us. We got a lot to go over today. We're going to start with an NBA recap, and we're going to jump into a little bit of college basketball being so 2020. Some NFL news, some big NFL news, and a couple of thoughts on the aforementioned NBA playoffs that took place tonight and the series that are going on right now. So let's jump into it. NBA, Miami Heat took game one from the Milwaukee Bucks. Jimmy Butler scored 40 points. Good for a playoff career high from Butler. Giannis did not play well. I mean, he had a near triple-double, but he only scored 18 points. He was 4 of 12 from the free throw line, and he got the help that we'd mentioned before that he's going to need if they're going to be successful. It's just he just wasn't overly efficient on his end. That has a lot to do with the game planning of Miami, and they find themselves in a similar situation as round one, where they dropped the early one to Orlando, but that was due to Giannis not having the help. This time he did have the help. He just didn't really show up. Miami's a much better team than Orlando. This one might have a little bit more of an indication as to how the rest of the series might go. It's I don't expect Milwaukee to come back and sweep Miami the way they did Orlando. They swept Orlando fairly easily after dropping the first one. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case. The shooting of Miami and their depth could be a real problem. Goran Dragic added 27 points, but Miami took a 1-0 lead. Giannis got the help he needed, like I said before, from Lopez and Middleton. Lopez chipped in 24 points, and Middleton had 28. The other game tonight was a round one matchup, Game 7 between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Houston Rockets. A lot of thoughts on this one. James Harden had 32 points. Oklahoma City pulled this one out at the end. It was a good game all the way through. Chris Paul played out of his mind. But the real issue here was the fact that Russell Westbrook doesn't look to be back to game shape, per se. He looks rusty. He had 7 turnovers. He only had 17 points. And if for some reason he was running point and bringing the ball up the floor at the end of the game, when you have what the analytics show is the greatest offensive player in the history of the NBA on your team, when you need a basket, it seems that Harden would be the guy to get the ball. And Harden, not being an expert of moving without the ball, it seems like the best way to play that was to have Harden bring it up, draw a double team, and kick it out, or do what Harden does and score. So a lot of questions for Mike D'Antoni after that one. And if this one fizzles out after having the rest, the Rockets have been known for running out of gas come playoff time. Well, they're all rested, and if they fizzle out again, you really should probably start looking for a coaching change. And after the coaching changes we've seen at the end of the bubble, I would not be surprised to see them make a move, and it's probably about that time. The winner of that series, game 7, will be Wednesday night, and the winner of that game will take on the Clippers, which should be a fun matchup either way. Tomorrow night, action starts at 5:30 on ESPN. Boston tries to take a 2-0 lead on the defending champion Raptors. That should be a good series. Boston pretty much walked away with it in Game 1, but look for the Raptors with their dynamic guards, Fred VanVleet and Kyle Lowry, to put up a heck of a fight in this series. And Pascal Siakam should have a better game. He doesn't usually put up 2 bad ones in a row. So that one goes to game 7 or Game 2 tomorrow night, and it should be a good one. Tomorrow night also is the Utah Jazz and the Denver Nuggets in a Game 7, end of round 1. Winner of that one takes on the Lakers. Sad to see this one come to an end because the back and forth between Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray, several 50-point games, has been fun to watch. And I don't think either one of these teams is going to really hang with the Lakers. So it's going to be sad to see that one come to an end, but it's been entertaining, and that's really all you can ask for. Let's jump over to the NFL. We've got some big news from the big league as the season is about to start in about 2 weeks. Hopefully, it goes without a hitch. But big news out of Jacksonville. Big news out of Los Angeles. Jacksonville Jaguars, first of all, after trading Yannick Ngakoue, after much highly publicized contract dispute and Ngakoue not wanting to play anymore, he made the Minnesota Vikings much stronger as the Vikings traded for the pass rusher. And then the Jaguars, in obvious tank fashion, looks like they were unsuccessful at finding a trade suitor for running back Leonard Fournette, and they released him today. A lot of speculation as to where Leonard Fournette's going to wind up. A lot of rumors out there that Tampa and New England and a couple other teams could be in the running, but nonetheless, Leonard Fournette's a very, very talented back who can do everything out of the backfield. The right team picks him up, he could really thrive. And also in the NFL, sad news: Derwin James, All-Pro Safety for the Chargers, torn meniscus. Looks like he's going to miss the entire 2020 season. He missed 11 games last season with a stress fracture in his foot. Played the last 5, played well, but that was just after his rookie season where he was named first-team All-Pro as a rookie, and looked like a difference maker coming out of that 2018 draft. Now it looks like we're going to miss a whole season of him. The Chargers are going to miss the whole season of him. They're going to miss it a lot more than I will, but it's still good to see the best players on the field, and it doesn't look like we're going to see what I believe is one of the best safeties for this upcoming season. And then jump over to college basketball. Another sad loss for a program, for a sport. John Thompson, longtime coach of Georgetown University, who rose to prominence in the 80s and 90s, joined Lute Olson as a legendary coach who passed away in this past week. Him and Olson both were like, to me there's legends and there's great coaches, and both of these guys are in the Basketball Hall of Fame. But I mean, there's coaches that get a lot of credit but didn't really build a program. I mean, there's Roy Williams at North Carolina. He came from Kansas. He didn't build either one of those programs. They were already in place. Calipari's and Patinos and all those guys, they're great coaches, and Izzos, and they're great coaches, and I respect everything that they do. But what Lute Olson and John Thompson did is something very few have done recently, and I put them with Bobby Knight and Coach K, and taking a program that was just dead in the water. Coach K did it pretty much with Duke. They were in trouble. Bobby Knight brought Indiana to prominence, but Lute Olson at Arizona, John Thompson at Georgetown, they took programs that were not known for basketball, not at all, and turned them into powerhouses, turned them into blue bloods. And Arizona still to this day is a blue blood, and Georgetown is still synonymous with basketball. And that's because of John Thompson, and that's because of Lute Olson. Lute Olson won a national championship in 1997, John Thompson in 1984. Both of them took over. Georgetown was bad before John Thompson. Arizona was bad before Lute Olson. And it really speaks to the character of players that they recruit and the way that they coach the game. And the players that they coached that are in the media now have nothing but good things to say about them. These are two guys that they had the rumors swirl as every NCAA coach does. I mean, about violations or sanctions or whatever, but none of them ever came to fruition. And these two have player after player coming to their defense. I mean, but if you look at the players that they recruited, a lot of them go on to be head coaches because they learned the game from Lute Olson. They learned the game from John Thompson. Patrick Ewing, probably the best player in Georgetown history. He's a head coach. He's the head coach at Georgetown. And Lute Olson coached Luke Walton, who's a head coach in Sacramento. Steve Kerr, who's almost got a fistful of rings coaching the Golden State Warriors. So it just speaks to what these guys were able to instill, what the way they taught the game, and they're program builders. And a lot of coaches ride the coattails or jump to jobs that coaches before them have already made great, like Bill Self in Kansas has been a blue blood for forever. Calipari came to Kentucky, and Pitino and Fog Allen and all those guys before him had made that a program. And it's guys like Lute Olson and John Thompson that I really tip my hat to, because they come into a situation without the funding, without the hype, without the assistance of the media and publicity, and they recruit good players and they convince great players to come to a school that isn't known for basketball. Lute Olson came to Arizona, and I mean, now when you think Pac-12 basketball, you think Arizona. It's the first one you think of. But for decades and decades, it was UCLA. I mean, UCLA still got that aura about them, but when you think of the Pac-12, you think of, before you do any sort of preview, you think which team is most likely out of this conference to win a national championship. And it's Arizona. Without reading anything, without following recruiting, Arizona's the first one off your lips because of what Lute Olson created, because by making that program a household name. And John Thompson, the Big East, I mean, for 25 years, Georgetown was it. From Allen Iverson to Patrick Ewing to Alonzo Mourning to, I mean, he turned a school that isn't known for its athletics, and it wasn't. I mean, hell, I don't even know if they have a football team. But people know Georgetown basketball, and that's because of John Thompson. People know Arizona basketball because of Lute Olson. So it's sad to see them go. Lute Olson, 85 years old, passed away last week. John Thompson just yesterday, 2 days ago now, passed away at 78 years old. So sad to see them go. They were two of a kind. I mean, I'm not going to say one of a kind because there's two of them, but they're a rare breed. And it's sad. It's sad for college basketball. It's sad for those programs, and it's sad for the game of basketball in general. Thank you for tuning in to the Flipside Podcast, Flipside for your ears. Again, like, subscribe, download, leave a review, and see you next time. Thank you.